from the oldest city in the USA, St. Augustine tonight, with our guest, publicist Leigh Cort, photographer Lenny Foster, musical guest the Groov Band, and filmmakers Adam and Monique Madrid. With your host, Jorge Rivera.
Oh boy, look at you. I know why you're so happy. There's a royal baby and he's half Americano. Yes, hey! We got some clout in that Windsor house. I think they called them Brexit. I'm not sure. Then there'll be a Brexit 2, a Brexit 3 if he becomes king. So that'd be a lot of fun. But I'd like to start the show by thanking Garrett Bros Home Decor. Look at this set. I also want to thank our caterer. She's sitting in the audience, Sherry Stoppelbein. Brought some wicked grub. And that's been just fantastic. We still have lots of nice things to drink for all the people who've contributed so much to the show. So that's always a wonderful, wonderful thing. So this is our show number 10. Would you believe that? Show number 10. I mean, we're like, we're killing it. And in the news, last week, Chewbacca from Star Wars, the original Chewbacca, he passed away. Peter Mayhew was his name. He was 71 years old, and he was in all those great films. He was such a great character. It was May 4th the other day, which is May the 4th be with you. Get it? And so in many circles, they celebrate that whole Star Wars thing. And there were so many tributes to him because he will be missed. He will be missed. Another thing in the news is the state of Maine. The state of Maine has decided to ban styrofoam as we know it. It'll happen in the year 2021 because it gives time to merchants and people to find items that are biodegradable, but that styrofoam will last forever. It's quite sad. Interesting product, but we found out that it's not the best. Hawaii banned plastic bags a couple of years ago. So you will not get a plastic bag in the Hawaiian Islands. You bring your own bag or you use something else, but no more plastic bags. When I traveled around the world, that always shocked me, all the plastic I would see in these poor countries, just everywhere, and wondering, how long is that going to last? A very sad thing in the news, millionaires. There's a caravan of poor people coming from Central America, but there's another caravan of millionaires, and they're all leaving their countries because of taxes or political situations. As a matter of fact, 108,000 millionaires have left, and they're coming to the USA, they're coming to Australia, and they're coming, Garrett's going to sell some furniture here, and also they're coming to Canada, US, and Australia. As a matter of fact, 3,000 millionaires left last year because of Brexit. They left England. Where they go, but they figure Brexit is not a good thing for them. So they left. So these poor millionaires standing in lines at the border, holding their American Express card. It's a really sad scene. I hope someone has a camera to show the devastation of these poor millionaires as their Gucci shoes get a little worn out of all the walking. Another thing in the news, quite sad, a report to the United Nations says that about 1 million species will become extinct if we don't change this. And I think the joke is it probably might be 1,000,001. We don't realize we might be included in that. So we have to start changing some things in the planet to try to keep this little planet blue. I know people want to go to Mars and terraform Mars, but to me it's, come on guys, how about using some of that technology here for the things we need? But we don't have any millionaires here asking for asylum tonight. What we have are guests. So tonight we have our guests are going to be, oh yeah, you can hear the music. They're going to be Leigh Cort, publicist Leigh Cort, photographer Lenny Foster. We have from the 48-hour Jackson Film Festival, Adam and Monique Madrid. We have a special little guest that I'm not telling you who it is, and we have the Groov Band. You can hear them now. And I'll let you with the Groov Band.
At St. Augustine Distillery, we're part of a new generation of American craft distillers. Family-owned and operated, we are committed to making the best possible spirits using local agriculture. Our distillers make everything by hand, from mashing and blending to distilling and tasting each and every batch. We distill and bottle everything we sell, making sure that the spirits are just right before barreling and aging. Bottled by real people, we love showing our guests not only what we do, but why we do it. We're passionate about educating our guests to not only what goes into each bottle, but how to make the best possible cocktails. We love St. Augustine, and thanks to your purchases, we're able to give back to the community and help local organizations each and every day.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
St. Augustine Distillery, handmade with pride in the nation's oldest city.
Oh, yeah. we say, you're cooking with oil, baby. Oh, yeah. That was wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm with Leigh Cort. I want to thank you for being here. Give her a hand.
My pleasure.
And I've known you for a while. I keep running into you in so many events, you know. Now you're very much involved with the Women Food Alliance.
Yes.
And the person who catered today is
Sherry Stoppelbein with Love and Oven Catering. Yes.
And we want to thank you again. That was so lovely, so lovely, so lovely. So, wow, we want to get to know you. So where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was going to start with the end before the beginning, but I'm a Jersey Shore girl. I grew up in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Okay.
Which, for people who don't know New Jersey, it's near Asbury Park and close to New York City.
Right.
Sort of midway between New York City and Philadelphia.
Right, right.
But
Now-
Jersey Shore, very defined.
Now, when you were young, music was at your heart, wasn't it? I mean,
Actually,
singing.
my mother and dad were big fans of the big band era during and after World War II.
The Dorseys and all
So,
that.
as a 6-year-old, they bought me a piano, and I would lock myself in the den, play the piano, and listen to big band music and sing with whoever was singing at the time.
Oh, wow, wow. And what was that influence for you as you got older, as you went into high school and that kind of thing?
I ended up just being a big fan of music comedy and doing like the senior musical. So when a girl does a senior musical in high school, you know that you really want to do that the rest of your life. So I did it for decades, for 2 decades. I did.
So you were in
music.
Jersey. So New York was tempting?
New York. No,
Did you go
absolutely
into
New
that
York.
music district?
I lived in the city and became a New York actor.
Oh, wow.
I did.
Wow. And it was mostly the musical genre?
Yes. It was
Wow.
the Rodgers and Hammersteins and the Man of La Manchas, and it was that generation of musical theater.
Wow. And then what roles did you play that you remember that were so wonderful?
The toughest one was Aldonza in Man of La Mancha.
Oh.
I did 1776, which was a unique experience for me because I was cast as the only 2 women in the musical because it was the colonial, the 1776, you know, the Declaration of Independence. So,
Right.
I had 2 different voices, so they cast me as Abigail Adams and Martha Jefferson in the same show.
Oh.
So I could wear a blonde wig. At the time I had long black hair, so that was Martha. But Abigail had a blonde wig and a bonnet, so I could be the... So it was tough for curtain call people because the curtain call would come, they go, so where's Martha? Where's Abigail? So, but I stayed in that industry until I was almost 40.
Wow.
And then I segued out of music, put all the music away, and ended up in the hospitality industry, which is where I've stayed all these years.
In New York City?
Starting in New York City.
That's
and
challenging.
then it was challenging. I
Where did
ended
you
up-
start first?
I started at the top, actually. I didn't know it was the top, but I ended up as the event planner, the party director at the Trump Tower that had just opened in
That
the
was
1980s.
big at that time.
It was big.
That,
It
yeah,
was.
the Trump Tower in the 80s, and even Trump, that's when he started, you know, showing up in TV talk shows, started, you know, and his place was hot.
It was preclusive to that time. He was really busy running the Trump Tower, which was his showplace. So I learned from the inside out how to do parties for thousands of people without knowing how to do it, really.
And what kind of parties did they throw there at the tower at that time?
Well, it was 5 floors of shops that were all connected
Right.
with an indoor escalator. So we could do parties for 300 to about 4,500 people, but they were not seated. They were cocktail receptions.
Okay.
And my very first party was a winter party. And if I had not done my homework, we would have had 3,000 people wearing coats with no place to hang them. So I learned very early on, the very most important thing is planning all the details of the party from
That's
the
it,
coat
it's all
check,
details, isn't it?
from coat check, so
Yes.
people could check their coats. So I
Everything.
had, at that time, maybe 100 people checking coats.
Wow.
So numbers.
Right. I mean, it's all details from the way the napkin is folded to there's so many minute details that make it a success or not. And who were some of the people you threw parties for when you were at the Towers?
Well, it began with Mrs. Trump at the time, Ivana
Ivanka.
Trump,
Yeah.
Ivana,
Ivana,
Mrs.
I mean, yes.
Burt Parks, probably the most touching party at that time, my first year, was for Yul Brynner.
Oh, I love
And Yul
him.
Brynner was in his last revival of The King and I.
Oh, wow.
And Mrs. Richard Rogers hosted a party for him to say farewell.
Oh, wow.
So it was just, it was emotional, it was beautiful, but I love the party business.
Right. And then from Trump, where did you go? Did you stay with Trump? How long did you stay on the
I
Trump
stayed
organization?
there a few years, and then because show business was my heart, I ended up at Sardi's in the theater district, and working with Mr. Sardi, the legendary Mr. Sardi, Vincent Sardi.
Yeah, that's the place to pick out. You know, Woody Allen would be there. I mean, so many
Carol
people.
Channing sitting at the front table. Who was the actress that had little black pin curls? Famous dancer, can't remember her name, but it was the who's who would be at their front
Yes,
tables.
Sardi's is huge.
And it was really fun for me to do the Tony Award parties, and people that I loved and admired who would walk in a room and I go, oh my gosh, I can't really, I have to be professional.
Yes, yes. Well, I washed his hand ever again. Yes, you know. Yes, no.
Baryshnikov, we did a wonderful party for Baryshnikov.
Oh, I loved him.
And his personal chef went into our kitchen. I had never experienced that before. And he went into the kitchen and he insisted on himself cooking Mr. Baryshnikov's dinner that night to make sure that it was steak black and blue or whatever it was.
I would sometime be the assistant manager of the Lincoln Library for the Performing Arts. And
Where was
that? In New York on 66th Street, right next to the Met, you know, and they do events there. And it would be the same thing, they bring great people, and I can name all the people there, but the one person that I remember was Sophia Loren was going to be that night. And she, as a little boy, I mean, Sophia. And I remember when I rehearsed a little thing to say to her, and when she turned around and looked at me, I went, and walked away. It was very embarrassing. But I let her came back and got to talk to her. But I know that feeling to be this energy that these people bring as soon as they walk in a room.
Sidney Poitier. I remember I was entertaining somebody at lunch one day, and the guests at Sardi's, you know, Wednesday afternoon matinee brought everybody to New York City. So once the matinee was on, then I would be able to host people for a late lunch before all the people came back for dinner. But when Mr. Sardi walked in the room, all the celebrities stood and applauded him.
That is respect, my friend.
Absolutely.
That
It
is
was really
respect.
fabulous. I want to go to something that happened today.
What's that?
St. Augustine has recently won an award from Southern Living as the best food town in the South.
Wow.
It's brand new this month. Bravo, St. Augustine.
Here in St. Augustine.
So today at our convention center in World Golf Village by the Renaissance Hotel was our State of the Union address by Richard Goldman, who is our president of the Visitors and Convention Bureau, and all the who's who of the hospitality industry, frontline people, back of the line people, owners. Just a really fabulous day, and talking about the success of tourism and how everybody in our destination has put St. Augustine and North Florida on the map.
Wow.
And luckily I was there to hear that this year, St. Johns County, where we are, which is Ponte Vedra, the beaches, St. Augustine, World Golf Village, that we are the #1 growth county in the state of Florida for tourism and hospitality. So everybody's table had different takeaway gifts from whether it was the distillery or the lighthouse, and this was on my table, and it's a miniature St. Augustine lighthouse. So I decided I was going to give it to you because you have been courageous enough to bring a new light to St. Augustine with your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is so kind of you. But right on that same subject, you came to when did you come to St. Augustine? Now you had all this experience with all these great organizations, and you come and you end up here in St. Augustine.
After New York, my hubby and I moved home to St. Simon's Island, Georgia, which is only 2 hours up the road. And within maybe a month of us being there, we went to lunch at the Ritz-Carlton on Amelia Island.
Right.
And I had decided to resign from nighttime party planning because I needed a real life with my hubby. And we walked into the Ritz and I lost my heart. I went, oh, I want to plan the parties here. And within a few days, HR we were all together, and I became the director of special events and catering at the Ritz for 5 years.
Wow.
Until the millennium.
Okay.
And the millennium, 19 years ago, was just my swan song. I went, that's it, I need to do something else. I love PR. I like putting people together.
Heard the violins.
No, I like to put other people in the spotlight. So I drove to St. Augustine by myself down A1A through Volano Beach, over the bridge, came downtown. And it's a very long story, a circuitous story, but I was fortunate enough to meet Joe Finnegan, who he and his wife owned the St. Francis Inn and other amazing historic properties here in St. Augustine. And I became the publicist for the entire Bed and Breakfast Association.
Okay.
At the time, there were 27 historic bed and breakfasts. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I was able to put them on the map. The organization is still very vital. It's called Say Hi, the St. Augustine Historic Inns, and that became my new path of being in PR and specializing in historic bed and breakfast, historic hotels, restaurant chefs. The hospitality industry is my heart.
And this Women Alliance thing, what is this all about?
Well, women really needed a voice. They needed an advocate for what they do in the hospitality industry. And the hospitality industry is so much more than just owning a restaurant or being a chef. The hospitality industry are event planners and caterers, packaging, specialty food manufacturers and products like Sherry Stoppelbein, who catered tonight. She is the owner of That'll Be Good hot sauces. So the hospitality industry is rich with women. So 6 years ago, I gathered 8 fabulous, diverse women in Jacksonville, North Florida. And I decided that we were going to have an organization, a club of hospitality women. And now it's 6 years later, and we have members throughout all of Florida.
About how many women now?
Well, we're up to about 120 women.
God.
And it's really a club of hospitality women who support each other. Tonight in the audience, I saw Carla Wagner, who owns Corazon Movie Theater.
She's a treasure.
I've seen you there. And Corazon is a wonderful party venue. And now she's matched up with Shannon Hart, who owns My Shabby Wedding, and together they make magic. But that's what the Women's Food Alliance is all about. It's about connecting hospitality women to respect and understand what each other is doing, so that they can collaborate maybe on other things.
And with that, to end with that said, and what was declared today in that convention, the future looks very bright.
It is very bright. Thank you. Thanks for making it
thank you
brighter
so
and lighter.
much.
Thanks,
I thank
Jorge.
you so much.
right.
Leigh Cort,
Thank you.
you so much. And we'll be back after these messages.
My background is French culinary, so we definitely have a European style to what we do. But I think also we're lucky with what we get around here as far as produce, so we're very spoiled with that kind of thing. Being able to get our vegetables delivered weekly, go out to the farm and pick up our cheese, things like that. So we're very influenced by our environment. Sourcing the way that we do seasonally is definitely something that keeps us creative. It keeps us doing something different every day. And especially now that we've started opening for dinner, it's really kind of going out there and meeting the guy at the dairy farm, meeting the guy that grows our cauliflower. Those are the kind of things that I think make it exceptional.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with Lenny Foster. Lenny Foster. Yes, Lenny, so great to have you on the show. Yes, it's great to have you on the show. For those of you who don't know Lenny has a gallery on King Street. It's called 144.
Gallery 144.
Yeah, Gallery
yes.
144. It's photography, and it's amazing. So Lenny, let's start with you. Where are you from originally?
Originally the D.C. area, Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
How was D.C.? Was it good growing up?
It was very sweet.
Yeah? What
You
made
know,
it special?
Well, as kids, we could go anywhere. We could play outside all day. Back then, we played outside.
Oh, yes, I remember. Stickball, scully, handball.
Right. It had to be forced to come inside, right?
Yes.
It's a little bit
Your mother
different
would
these
threaten
days.
you and call you by your
Yes,
full name.
Yes.
Mhm.
But you know, it was a peaceful childhood. It was we lived in a safe neighborhood. Families looked after each other's kids. You know, you could play in the yards, you could play in the street. You know, play till the street lights come on. That was the signal.
Okay, and then you moved on once your childhood, and you went to high school
in the same area. Yeah.
Yeah. So you stayed there how long?
Well, I stayed until the late 70s, and
wow.
and then I got a job offer. I was in the clothing business.
Okay.
Got a job offer to go to Houston and help run a clothing store, and I had a one-way ticket and a few bucks, and so when I got there, I wanted to turn around, but I couldn't.
Didn't have enough money to go back.
No.
Oh,
But
that's
I
funny.
did that deal for a while, and then eventually moved into the car business, which I was in the car business for 15,
So
16
you were
years.
15 years
yeah.
selling cars. You were
Yes.
what, manager?
Eventually, the last 6 years, I was
Oh.
a sales manager at a Honda
You're the guy, you write the
dealership.
little note, pass
Yes,
it over, he
yeah.
passes
Tell
it
him
over.
forget about it. More money.
Now, did you enjoy that business?
You know, I did for a number of years. It got to be a grind.
It is a lot of hours.
You know, I was a big party guy during those times, so if I had, and I did have a conscience, things would get to me, some of the things that we had to perform. So, you know, a drink or something would help ease that, right? But as I later in my career, I got sober, like in the mid-'80s, I got sober, you know,
Okay.
and the more conscious I became, the harder the business became. And
Because you were aware, yes.
yeah, and being a manager, you know, to get the numbers, you're forced to get
Do
the
things.
sales no matter what, and it kind of went against my nature. So fortunately, I discovered photography.
How did
and-
that happen? I mean, how does a camera fall on your lap all of a sudden?
Well, I needed something to do, you know, having that change of life, being more present, being more conscious, and being sober. You know, my life was devoted to partying, so I had to fill that void with something, and something healthy and constructive. And a friend suggested looking at a camera in a pawn shop that was a few doors down from the dealership. I'll be right there. Honey.
So you buy your first camera in the pawn shop?
Yeah, and I just take the camera and I start hiking. I go to the Shenandoahs, I go to the Eastern Shore, I go to the Botanical Gardens, the
This is
Byzantine
meditation
Gardens.
and spirituality now.
It truly was, because I could just walk and shoot and sit.
Do you
and
remember the
meditate.
brand of that camera, that first camera?
It was a Pentax K1000.
Oh, wow.
I still have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Encased in gold. No, I still have, like every camera I've had, I have it in a box.
And so you learned on your own at the beginning, and then?
Yes, fortunately, I was able to learn behind the camera. You know, the car business, the job afforded me the means of burning through a lot of rolls of film.
Yes,
And,
I remember those days.
And I'm glad I had many years of shooting on film, because you you just can't shoot mindlessly. You know,
Right.
you really have to
Is
focus.
this worth a picture?
Yeah, you have to think about it a little bit
I know she's a
more, I
pretty
think.
girl, but is
Right.
this worth the picture?
As always.
Yes. And
Yes.
that is because you only have 36.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, these photos are Lenny's behind us. And if you
Thank
go
you,
to his
thank you.
gallery, it's amazing. Now here now your photography has a certain level. How do you then take it to the next level? What happened? You bought another camera?
Well, I had taken a trip from Northern Virginia. I took a trip out to Taos, New Mexico with a friend. She was looking to move to New Mexico, and we did a little Southwest tour, Sedona, Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, and then to Taos. And you know, I shot a few pics, and when I got back to the DC area, a few people wanted to purchase images that I shot.
Wow.
Ding, 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 ding.
This could be a business.
And also, like a month after the trip to Taos, you know, I had this moment right at my desk in the dealership where I remembered I had this Arizona Highways magazine that I bought out west.
Right.
And I'm in my office, I'm flipping through the magazine, and I get very emotional, and I flash back to childhood, and my mom used to bring stacks of Arizona Highways home. And my bedroom was covered in pictures of the Southwest. So a month after my trip to Taos, I'm looking through this magazine.
It's like
I was
a
like,
flashback that comes back.
I've got to move. So I traded the car for a truck, and 6 months later,
You did good because you were a salesman, so you knew the tricks. You got a good deal. And you headed out to Taos.
Yes.
How long did you stay?
I call it the long year.
How long was this year?
I thought I would be there about a year or so. It was 23 years.
Oh my
What do you know? You know, when you take the first step. You know,
And so pictures like that one are Taos.
Yes.
The drummer, the Native American drummer.
Yeah, he was, at the time I shot that, he was 99 and one of the last surviving Bataan Death March soldiers.
Wow,
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah, very, very powerful encounter with this man here.
And that's what I see in your pictures, is this energy of story, of you feel it here.
Yes.
And that's what I find so strange when I go in your gallery, because a lot of galleries I go and it's this beauty, but you have these hands, these people, and you feel it here, not here. And that's what I found your gallery so different.
Oh, thank you. You're certainly in tune. I think that's the main reason why people gravitate to the work. I mean, besides being aesthetically beautiful and presented in a nice way, for me, when I create, there's that connection to whatever. There's spirit, there's love, there's energy, and inanimate objects and trees, and of course, sitting in front of beings like this, you know, you feel that. And so my mission, so to speak, is to besides making a buck, is to reveal that.
Yes.
You know, to show what I sense and feel and experience, and sometimes that transfers onto the paper, and people see that and want that. And often when people come in the gallery, there are people that are collectors, and they come in looking specifically for things, and there are others that are just looking. You know, our lives now are so busy and hectic and frenzied, and go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. People come into the gallery and they experience peace. Say, oh, what is this?
Yes.
I want to have some of that.
It's that energy.
Yeah.
I was once in a large room, and the Dalai Lama came through with Richard Gere at the time, was very involved. When that man walked in there, the energy in that room, the molecule, everything changed.
Yes.
It was something I'll never forget. And I remember I had to breathe. It was, you know, and there are people who have that kind of energy. So now, Taos is such a great place for subject matter. Have you been somewhere else where subject matter was that powerful?
Well, I think, anywhere I go. I started a body of work from a trip to, I went to Senegal, West Africa for a week-long healing ceremony, and I came back with 40 images that are really strong. You know, it's my first body of work, and 8 of which are these healing hands, what I call them, hands that were kind of involved in ceremony of one form or the other.
Hold this up. He has books, you know. They're beautiful.
Cash, check, or credit card.
They're beautiful. I mean, when you go through this book, the things you see they take you a moment, and these are all hands, and it's just a beautiful book.
And stories, yeah.
And stories, of course. And he has other books here where there's a lot of beautiful landscapes in black and white. You even have a calendar. How kitschy is that? But but yet
gas money.
Yes, gas money. So now did Africa transform you in a way?
Oh, absolutely. My first trip over there, and I went there specifically my thinking was to take pictures. And what happened was something much more profound. And you know, I don't know if you experienced maybe going to standing on the soil or the beaches in Puerto Rico. You know, your ancestors were born there, bled there, died there, lived there, loved there, and going to Senegal, West Africa, even though I may not have had a direct ancestral connection there, standing on the African soil. You know, I had this moment during this ceremony, and I walked out over the rocks, and the tide is coming in. This is late evening. There are people on the shore singing and chanting, and this is the last part of the ceremony, and the tide is coming in, and it is getting higher, and I'm standing on this rock, and it was like this moment where the ancestors just came up and grabbed me and whispered in my ear the truth of who I was. Wow. Not what I learned in school, not what I learned, not what I hear on the media, even not what my parents told me I was. You know, it's the true nature of my being and my spirit.
Yes. Yes.
Which is.
You have a picture of a door from Senegal.
Yes.
A door of no return.
Yes.
And that door is what?
It's a door at the slave castle on Gorée Island, which is located about a half mile off the coast of Senegal. And it was one of the main transfer points of millions of slaves in Africa. And it's a very powerful door in that slaves would exit that onto gangplanks and onto ships.
So once they went through that door, there was no return.
South America, North America.
It's like stepping into space and not knowing what's going to happen.
It was a very powerful moment for me.
Well, go to his gallery. It's right there on King Street. Art Walk is a wonderful time to come by. I feel honored to know you, my friend. And your work speaks for you.
Thank you.
Your work speaks for you. And definitely, you're welcome after the show to look some of these books that are here and see some of his work. But what would the world be without photographers? Is what I say.
And dancers and artists and creative people help spread the news.
I ended up in Bosnia-Herzegovina working, trying to save children, and it was a photo I saw of a boy. That took me to Bosnia. So, God bless you.
Bless you, man. You do great work in this community.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be your friend and to be on the show.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
We'll be back after these messages.
My name's Theo Garrett. I'm the owner of Garrett Bros. My rule of thumb is I don't take anything in this store that I wouldn't have in my own home. We look for unique pieces, things you can't find anywhere around St. Augustine, and we pride ourselves on that. We have more than furniture. We have 1967 Vespa. We have anything that you can think of that would be fun and exciting. You're going to find it here. Sculptures, art pieces. We have a wonderful selection of art. I hear it's like a museum. That's the most common comment that I hear. Love for you to come and see me here, and we'll make you happy.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a little cameo appearance, really. It's not a set interview, but Amy Hendrickson, that we all know and love and see her everywhere, musician, songwriter, singer. She just had an extension of herself, and his name is Wyatt. And forget the royal baby. This is more interesting. Yeah, Wyatt. And we just want to know, how are you doing as a mama now?
Life is good.
Yeah?
Life is good.
Here, you said.
Life is good.
Uh-huh.
I fear a lot fewer things these days. Like no spit up can stop me. And I can multitask now on a different level.
Wow. Wow.
But very happy. Very happy.
Yeah, he looks lovely. He looks full of energy.
He's healthy. He's 2 days old right now. You can tell.
That's fun. But you know, you were the first guest of the first season of the first show of the St. Augustine Tonight Show. That was a couple of years ago. Well, we were not thinking about this then.
No.
We were playing and everything, and now, so everything was good. The pregnancy went well. The delivery.
The pregnancy was fantastic. As much as you can say the pregnancy was fantastic. One thing I've learned is that everyone has advice for you, and most of it I took.
Okay.
Some of it I did not. But it's fantastic, and it's also one of those things that, you know, shortly after you call your parents and you say, I didn't know. Both I didn't know you loved me this much, and I didn't know I did those things, and I'm so sorry.
All right. Now, in your family, is this the first grandchild?
No, my brother is a little older than me, and he has 6.
6?
Yes.
Well, let's not waste time.
He bought us all a lot of time. We were like, as long as he keeps going like that, we don't have to have any more grandkids. So.
That's funny.
So he's number 7.
Oh, wow. Lucky number 7.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. Well, I wanted people to see you and see the baby and know that everything's good. And how are the gigs going? Less gigs now?
The gigs are going good.
Yeah?
So I'm performing festivals. I did Gamble Rogers last weekend.
Oh, wow, right.
Dancing in the Street this weekend.
Okay.
And wrapping up a 3-year album.
All right.
So,
wow.
But yeah, taking it easy during the week.
Look at that. And does he sleep with a guitar?
He doesn't. We're starting on violin because it's the least
a
amount of
virtuoso.
equipment you can ever carry
He's
to
so
a gig.
sweet. I love baby hands, you know.
Right.
Hey, there's a hand photographer around here, I heard. Yeah, these are so he's beautiful. He's just beautiful.
Thank you.
And God bless him, and may he be an incredible musician like his mom. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
We opened up last year in January. Everything from the German farmer bread, the Schwarzwälder Flosserbrot. We have Jewish roots as well on my mother's side. So we do challah every Friday. That's available.
Okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with Adam and Monique Madrid. I love that name, the capital of Spain, Madrid. And you guys are from where?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Philly?
Yes.
All right.
But I live in Jacksonville, Florida, so not too far.
Well, now you have a Philly quarterback in
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. And originally from California, and moved here when I was 8, so in Jacksonville. And,
Really? What part of California?
this place called Hanford, near Fresno, California.
Okay,
so,
near
yeah,
Fresno.
So, yeah. So,
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, you guys I brought because you guys have this really interesting festival. It's called what? The Jacksonville 48-Hour Film Festival.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's an exciting event that happens once a year. It happens in many cities across the world, and we're the city producers for Jacksonville. And basically what it is filmmakers compete. They have 48 hours to make a movie, and they don't know what they're filming until Friday. Okay. So Friday they're given a genre. It could be horror, suspense, comedy, thriller, buddy film, and then they're given elements, and then we say, all right, you guys have 48 hours to bring it back.
So they come in a room, they know they have 48 hours to film it, edit it, put the music, the whole thing, have the final product 48 hours later.
Yes.
Do you throw in any things that make it a little more difficult?
Yes, so along with them having to pick out their own genre, right then and there, they get a prop that they don't know until right then and there that they have to make sure is in the film. They have a specific line that has to be said word for word in the film and a certain character. And we don't know what it is until literally that day, and we can't tell them until literally at 7:20 when they pick
start.
when they start, right before they start.
So you say to them, you need to have this mug in the film.
Sure.
You need to say St. Augustine Tonight Show.
Yes.
That's the line.
That's the line.
Yes.
And you need a clown.
And you need
I need a clown, yes.
Oh, you need well, I'm kind of a clown. I can work. A little makeup would help me. So, and then they have to run with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, so about how many people actually come to participate, usually?
We got, so far we got about 20 teams. Like I said, we have until May 17th, so they can still register.
Okay.
They can actually go to the website, the 48hourfilm.com.
You
And
hear
you
that,
don't
St.
have to-
Augustine film? My technicians here deal in film,
Yeah.
short
Yeah.
film. So
Absolutely.
they would be, so that's why I brought you to have people here in St. Augustine,
Yep.
all these kids audiovisual out of Flagler and other colleges to
Yeah, you don't have to be
participate.
from Jacksonville, so it can be from anywhere, but you do have to turn the film in Jacksonville.
Okay.
But anybody can
So
participate.
you have probably 20 filmmakers, 30 filmmakers?
No, that's just 20 teams, I'm sorry.
Oh.
So each team has about, you can say about 10 to 20 filmmakers that are participating. And that's, I'm talking about like with actors, actresses,
Yes.
just everything.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
And then here comes, you guys got to watch all these films?
Well, we do. He has to edit them to be to where they're set for screening. It'll be screened at the Mosh Museum. But we have judges that are out of town and out-of-state judges. They will be viewing it, and they will help determine who's the winner and who wins all the categories. So
Okay.
not just us, but we have some judges from out of town that'll be.
All right. So what does the winner get?
Oh, so the winner, all right, so if you win for the city of Jacksonville, your film will then be shown at Rotterdam, Netherlands for part of Filmapalooza. And if you make the top films there, the top films from that competition go on to Cannes Film Festival, where there's a short film corner that's going to be shown there.
Could you imagine sitting next to Spike Lee or some French great while your short film is playing?
Yeah, so
wow,
it's a lot of fun.
true.
Yeah, and it's great too because like right now with us, like doing this is our first year doing it as city producers. We've been competing in it since 2007 when it started in Jacksonville, but before that it started in Washington D.C. and then it's been in all these cities all over the world, and we're just glad to do it and be a part of it. And like I said, we are looking for, like I said, if we want to participate, like I said, St. Augustine as well. Like I said, this is what it's great about like Jacksonville and St. Augustine and everything like that. We have a lot of talent here on the First Coast and everywhere, and it's just great to see.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to bring you so people here are aware if they're in that. Here's a great chance. Yeah. Now, how did you get involved with this? How did you get there to say we're running it?
Oh well, it's funny because me and Monique, we actually run the LOL Jacks Film Festival, and it's a film festival. It's going to be the third year coming up in August, and we've been doing it like I said for the past 2 years. the city producer that recently stepped down, and a lot of people were looking at us to run the 40-hour film project. And for us, we were just like, oh, sure, you know, it's just like, you know, but we had to go through the steps of trying to become the city producers. And, you know, we really care. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot to build a festival, a lot more than people realize.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but we know our passion, our commitment, and a lot of the filmmakers, local filmmakers, see that. And, you know, like I said, again, going back, there's just a lot of talent here. And we just love to see the talent like flourish. And it makes us, you know, excited to be a part of that. So.
It's like a purpose, encouraging filmmakers.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever win in the film festival itself?
Yeah, we actually won in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah,
what was the name of the film?
It was No Laughing Matter. Argyle Forest Films is our film production company.
And it was about a clown.
And it was about a clown, yeah, it's about a clown. So basically, yeah, we were given, it was me, Josh, Jeremiah, and Mike. We kind of already had like our team together, and we already knew what we were going to try to film, but you know, obviously we needed to wait for the elements and everything like that. So clown was going to be, no matter what, if it was going to be comedy, horror, suspense, thriller, it was going to be a clown movie.
Well,
so,
you know. Clowns are in I've seen them in everything from comedy to horror.
Yeah.
So and what did you get as the winner of that?
So we actually, our film got to be shown in Hollywood at the Chinese Theater.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And it was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of films from around the world, and you know, we got to compete in them. Yeah, and it was just great to network and talk to a lot of the filmmakers there.
Wow.
And that's what we want to see with our filmmakers here too, is to get that opportunity.
Yes.
And just like, and we see
Work
if
together.
you win, and like I said, you get to go on, and like I said, yeah, you get to, if you want to, go to travel to the Netherlands there. You know, like I said, you're going to meet a lot of filmmakers from around the world.
Yes.
And they did the same thing.
Yes.
They made a movie in 48 hours.
Yes. Just don't have those French fries with mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much.
Yes.
I wanted to bring you to let them out. Now, if any website that I can go for more information.
Yes, 48hourfilm.com/Jacksonville.
Okay.
They can learn about the festival if you want to actually just come and just see the films.
Yeah,
or
the whole
be
protocol
in it.
of what to do, how to do it, where it's
Absolutely.
at.
And they can also check us out on social media as well. You know, Facebook, Instagram, it's at Jacksonville48. You know,
48HFP.
right? And then on Twitter, it's at Jax, you know, 48FHP. Yep.
Wow.
So.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank you.
That was
great.
so interesting. Thank you.
Awesome.
At Martinez & Associates, we can help you with many things. Number one is income for life throughout your retirement, which is very important. Number two would be Medicare choices, which are very confusing. Number three is a legacy for your loved ones. And finally, keeping you independent throughout retirement. My name is Tuli Martinez. Call this number. Y hablamos español.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with the Groov Band. Wow, you guys were so smooth, so nice. I mean, I love jazz. I'm a huge jazz fan. Let's get your names. Your name is?
David Sylvester.
Carlos Peterson.
Stephen Scott.
Okay, and how long have you been playing together now?
About 7 years on and off.
7 years. Wow. Wow. And if I had to put your music in a genre, what would that be?
R&B, slash smooth jazz, slash standard jazz, slash country,
slash gospel.
You can't leave country out now. Come on. I grew up on country. Gospel.
Okay. Now, since you have the mic, let me ask you this question. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Ohio.
Okay.
Right outside of Cleveland, Ohio. A place called Youngstown, Ohio. Newton Falls,
Youngstown.
Ohio. Yes, sir.
Youngstown, Ohio. Yeah. We had another guest last week. It was two of them who had were or spent time in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
So that's interesting.
Yep.
All right. And Carlos, where are you from?
Born and raised Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville. Look at that. Homegrown, homegrown. And Dave, where are you from?
Chicago.
Chicago. Wow, that's a jazz town all by itself. Now, when start with you, when you were young, what were you listening at home? What was the music that?
Well, since I'm the oldest one here.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, you know, I grew up listening to Temptations, a lot of Motown stuff. You know, then I switched the radio, and then I'd go to Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. Those were my guys back then. So, and then easy listening to music. So, pretty
so
well
a whole
rounded up.
big spectrum.
A lot of different
Yes,
music.
yes. And Carlos, what were you listening to? What was in your CD case when you were young?
Well, my mom and dad was pastors.
Uh-oh.
So I wasn't allowed to listen to nothing but gospel, but I snuck behind their back. So
Okay.
we gonna keep
Well,
that
don't
down.
we all do it when we're young? You know, my father used to beat on my room. Turn that, off. And I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, machine gun, boom, 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 boom. You know, very loud. Yes. And how about you, Dave?
Similar to Carlos.
Oh, you curfew too, huh?
Very straight and narrow. But because it was Chicago, the blues kind of snuck into the church, and funky sounds snuck into the church. So it was a different kind of church in Chicago.
But out of gospel comes Aretha Franklin, Donna Summers. There's just tons and tons, males and females, that sort of what you call it, formed their vocals and their training, and then just took the world by storm. Whitney Houston. I mean, please. So gospel was
Earth, Wind,
probably
and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's another group. Yes. So now, where do you guys play usually?
Well, we have a weekly gig at Gusto's in Jacksonville Beach.
Okay.
And actually another weekly event at Whiskey Jack's.
Whiskey Jack's and Gusto's.
Yes.
Nice Italian restaurant, that Gusto's.
Excellent.
Nice setup they got you there too. Love it, love it. Now, when you're home, what do you listen to when you're not rehearsing? When you laid back and you want to listen to your music, what's your music now at your age? What's your music?
Well, since my girlfriend is Latino, I'm forced to listen to a lot of Latino music. Which is okay. I mean, I absolutely love it. But other than that, probably easy listening music. Sometimes, you know, we play all that stuff all the time. Sometimes I just want to get away from all that and listen to just instrumental music.
Okay.
Easy listening music and just lay back and
just lay back and enjoy. Does it inspire you?
Yeah.
Do you hear things that you say, I could adapt this, because you play the guitar.
I play the guitar. The guitar or the guitar?
The guitar, I call it. Now,
that's cool. Well, let me just say this. Other than that, when I go outside of that, then I have to go out and just venture and listen to other stuff, you know, because of where we play at.
Right.
We have a variety of different people, crowds that we have to play to. For example, if I turn around and I look at this crowd, this is generally, for example, we play at Plantation. Dave probably forgot, but we play at the all these high-end places. Plantation in Ponte Vedra, Sawgrass Plantation, Sawgrass Beach. So they hired us at these places. So when I look at a crowd, I'm looking at the crowd and I'm saying, okay, Dave, let's play some Lou Rawls. Let's play Georgia. You know,
George Benson.
Absolutely. So we have to make sure. So we get a mixed crowd. So you know, we have to make sure we get a nice variety of music up on the boardwalk. You know. So when I look at this crowd, I say, man, listen, let's play this kind of stuff because this is what they recognize. This is what we better play.
Okay.
You know. And they absolutely love it. You know. Mustang Sally.
Love it.
Come on now.
Love it.
And so it works well for us.
Okay. Now, Carlos, you're the keyboard.
Yes, sir.
How did you end up on the keyboard? Did it start when you were young?
Yes. I come from a family of 13.
Oh, wow. were you number 13?
Just about. I was the youngest son, but I had two sisters younger than me.
Okay.
Younger than myself. And,
okay, so you were number 11, probably. Okay.
Yeah. But I started out on drums.
Drums,
guitar,
percussion. Isn't that something?
Percussion. Well, piano's percussion too.
It is
that's where
percussion on strings, little
love.
hammers just doing their thing.
Yeah, so that's where I found my love at on the piano.
Wow, wow. Anyone that you listened to on the piano when you were growing up that you love that person on the piano?
Later in my years, when I really began to
take it seriously?
Branch off into jazz.
Okay.
Start listening to George Duke. Oh my God.
George Duke.
George Duke, man, phenomenal piano player. He one of those guys, man, he just sit back, so laid back that he'll throw something in there, catch your ear, you be like, ooh. So I start itemizing him a lot. George Duke.
Yeah, I used to like in jazz Oscar Peterson.
Oh.
That's a
quick story. I was
beast.
playing at another Italian restaurant called Enza's. And I was playing the piano. The guy told me, he said, man, you sound like Oscar Peterson. Well, my last name is Peterson.
Oh.
So I went and did a research. I say, man, I don't sound nothing like it. That guy
He's
is
way
phenomenal.
ahead of mine.
Oh my God,
yes.
He's phenomenal.
And the thing is that he can explain jazz. I think the reason, a lot of people play classical, and when they reach the peak of classical, they go into jazz. Yes. And when they ask him why, he says, that's the next challenge. Yes, classical is nothing but math. Exactly. This is beyond math. Yes. This is once your math is good, the rest is intuition, Yes. And Peters was one of those who could explain the unexplainable when he sat on the piano. And that's what I loved about him. It's like, okay, I get it now, because jazz could sometimes boom, boom. Now you play the saxophone. Oh, I love the saxophone. How did you get hooked to the horn like that, to that horn, the sax?
Well, back to church, and really my mother was the pivotal to turning point, because she said, I'll buy you that horn as long as you play it at church with me on the piano. So it's my mother on the piano and me on the horn. That sounds really exciting, right?
Playing gospel.
Playing gospel. But I learned so much from playing with my mother, with just two people playing. You have to kind of learn to say some things when it's just two people. And she taught herself how to play the piano and play the guitar. She was just a real creative woman.
Wow.
And had some foresight into how to impart that into me. And so.
Did she scold you after? You play that note too loud.
No, she said everything I did was good.
Oh, that's a good mama
so
right
she was a
there.
Good mother.
That's a good
wonderful.
mama. You were one of that. That was very original.
All she heard was good.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, once you left gospel, do you remember some of the first music that you were playing on the saxophone that was not gospel music?
I really started listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Really grabbed me a lot with the way they use the horns. But I tell you, the really basic foundation, I think, for me was James Brown.
Oh.
Because he just had a simple approach, but it touched everybody. You can't just listen to his music and get analytical about it. It's going to make you move. And I like that about him. The horns were hitting you.
Yeah.
The drummer was hitting you.
Yeah. It's no, I was seeing this little thing on Coltrane's Giant Steps, which is probably the most difficult thing to play on the saxophone.
Yes.
And the first time he played, the pianist, who was a great jazz pianist, was lost. He said, what is this guy doing? The chords are so fast and so complicated. And it, da-da, da-da, and it was such a funny story hearing them talking about it, where he was like a deer in front of the headlights. What is this? What am I listening to? How do I accompany this? And it's, I think jazz is so, Herbie Hancock once said he played the wrong note with Miles Davis. And Miles Davis made the note right. He said, that's when jazz suddenly it's like God's, Paul fell off the horse. He realized that he messed up. And when he did, he felt terrible. But Miles took it away, and it was like, he took a bad note and he turned it right. And that's what makes your music, my friends, just something that just keeps growing, keeps expanding. So are you guys recording anything? That sigh. Oh, the pizza's cold. Oh.
We're lazy. We're old.
They old.
Oh, Carlos saying, I'll take the witness protection plan. I'm not part of this old group here. No senior here. But
don't be afraid to be old, you know. Being old can be beautiful.
But have you thought about it?
Oh,
I mean, you're so creative.
And that's our next real step. We have just so much creativity, so many ideas that need to be cataloged. And we could just do so much. When I saw your other guests, this beautiful, this will never
Lenny.
go away.
Yeah.
This will just go on forever. And so we
Jazz people said that, Lenny, wherever you are.
And we have something in us that can also speak to so many that we need to catalog as a permanent record.
Yes.
And so that's our next step.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Will you guys play something for us?
Yes.
When we come back, we're getting serious.
This is what we actually play when we want to get people up dancing. You never go wrong with the Temptations. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. And when it's cold outside, I've got the monkey. I dare you say what can make me feel this way, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl. So much honey, bees and bees. I've got a sweeter song than the birds in the trees. I get you say what can make me feel this way, my girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl. Just my imaginations. By the Temptations again. See if you remember this one. Each day through my window, I watch when she passes by. Then I say to myself, I'm such a lucky guy. Come on. You have a girl like her to be a dream come true. 'Cause of all the fellas in the world, she belongs to me. Just my imagination once again, run away with me. Ooh, just my imagination. Say it again, just my imagination. Dave, you want some? Just imagination. Come on now. Run away with me. Woo. Just my imagination. Come on. Sing again now. Just my imagination. So like the way it sounds now. Just my imagination. So like that harmony. Come on now. Just my imagination. And running away, baby. Don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go.
Wow, wow, wow. Like they say, jazz brings class to anything you might do. I thank the Groov Band. They were amazing. I thank my guests, Leigh Cort, Lenny Foster, Amy Hendrickson for coming show us little Wyatt. I thank also Adam and Monique from the film festival. And I thank all of you for being such big supporters, and our caterer. I can go on and on and on. But thank you again for a wonderful show. They're going to play a little bit more. Hang around. And next week, we got another crazy, wonderful show. Thank you again. Thank you again.
I'm so in love with you. Girl, if I jump on into it, it's alright with me. You make me feel so right. Stand around you, my little woman. Is all I'm gonna do. Baby, tell me yeah. Now since we've been together, I can't love you forever.